New York City's homeless will soon be forced to pay up. City officials will begin charging rent to working families that are staying in public shelters.
Well, some families have already gotten notices under their doors saying if they don't pay, they could end up losing their housing.
You know, every New Yorker wants to escape the big city during the summer, and now Mayor Bloomberg is offering something for the homeless. A ticket to Paris, San Juan, or any destination of their choice here in the U.S. The catch? It's one way. Clearly, this is all about saving the city money.
What is true is if we don't, we either have two choices. We can either do this program or pay an enormous amount of money daily to provide housing.
I think Mayor Bloomberg needs to be homeless. You can't sit here and tell me what I need, but you've never been homeless. That doesn't even make sense. Like, in what world does that make sense? I'm Mel, and this is my story, and it's called Mel Tells.
You notice growing up when you live with parents that don't really do what they're supposed to do, that you gotta, when you start growing up, you gotta start making your own decisions. You gotta start cutting your own path.
I went the path with my mom. I was placed in a 10-day shelter. Within that 10 days, she did not get the stuff that she needed to get, and it was nothing hard to get. It was something I can get. It was something I can get today, in one day, all this stuff, and she had 10 days. She didn't get it, and she's still doing what she usually does. I thought that was time for me to put on the shoes myself and start walking. I'm crawling right now, actually. I'm not walking, I'm crawling. But like a couple of weeks later, she went missing. A couple of weeks after that, I found out that she was in jail. So it's a good thing I took those shoes when I had the chance. But when I was in a family shelter, what set me back was my reflection of myself and what was going on. So I always had an attitude problem, because now it's not only you being mad, it's everybody being mad. So try to wake up in an environment where everybody's mad, so you're just automatically mad. So now you brush your teeth mad, you take a shower mad, you get dressed mad. You go to school mad, you leave school mad, you start to not go to school, not at all go to school. And even if you are going to school, you're getting suspended for doing something that you wasn't supposed to be doing in the first place, that you probably would not do if you was in a stable environment. Being in a homeless shelter as a kid, it puts you a lot of steps back. Being as a homeless kid in a teen shelter, when you first start out, you have to take steps back just to take steps forward.
Now I'm in a high school where if you miss a certain amount of days, which could be like 4 days, 3 days, you fail that semester. So that really messed me up, because I missed a lot of days because I had to go to appointments and stuff like that. That since I lived on my own, I couldn't have my parents go to. I had to go to myself. I had to miss a lot of days.
Simba is an educational piece that they do with homeless kids, so they won't be lacking the education they need that they usually do lack coming from a homeless shelter.
The number is important, but we need to call letters.
Okay, I got you.
It's from Monday to Saturday. If you work, you only go Friday, Saturday, chosen to go Tuesday, and that's about it, I think. Oh, we have college classes on Saturdays. We go around to other schools, talking to teachers and principals, and tell them what they need to do with their homeless kids and stuff like that.
Teachers just say, I'm gonna treat you like everybody else, which is not the case. If you have two birds, one have their wings are fine, you can throw them up in the air and they fly away. You won't throw a bird in the air if he got one broken wing. And sometimes they don't understand that your wing is broken and that you need help.
My job basically is to be a role model for other kids that are in shelters that are little than me. Because when you live in a shelter, you never get a positive role model or a positive person there, you know? So my job is for me to work with them and show them that it's teenagers that are still positive in doing what they have to do, even though they live in a shelter. And I'm there to help them with their homework, and that's the two key things, is to be a role model and to show them that education is the only way.
How you gonna say there's only amount of students that are homeless when you only look at the homeless shelters? Now, I know people that live in the streets that go to school. I don't trust no type of data that says anything. Because let's face the facts. Like, when you look at numbers, it means absolutely nothing when it comes to data with people. It shows more when you focus on all groups at the same time, because now it makes it seem like the piece when we went to Walcott, yeah, and they was talking about for their brothers.
To make sure we're not failing our young men, our young women, and our children and students of color.
I feel like, why just for the brothers? Like, the more than brothers struggling in education, so why just help them out? Why can't you help everybody else out too? Like, it just made no sense to me. That's why I said when he was like, for the brothers, I was like, also for
brothers that are not colored.
You're struggling not because of your race. You're struggling because of where you're at in the economy right now and where you live. Depending on where you live, that depends on the school you get into. So, or where your parents at. So it's not more race, it's more of poor, rich, and middle. So that's another reason why that meeting didn't really catch me, because it should have been more about poor kids, not just black kids, just poor kids in general. Because poor kids in general lack education. Poor kids in general does not get the education they're supposed to get. So it doesn't have to do with color. I mean, it just has to do with where you live. I think this film is just to open up the eyes and tell people that you're not the only one in this situation. So if you start talking, and I'll start talking, then everybody will start talking. What's louder than one person? 1,000 people, obviously. And sometimes a thought is louder than the actual scream. What's that? They used to say, the pen is mightier than the sword. Well, this is the pen. So it just depends on who picks up the pen and start writing.